For today's topic, I want to talk about strings. What strings I'll be using for a while, as well as like my recommendation for what to look for when you're looking for strings as well. And I'm going to break it down into, first, let's say what I prioritize in looking for strings, what I usually look for. Point number one being obviously the sound of the strings, whether you're looking for something a little bit more bassy or something a little bit more metallic, something more bright, depending on your taste and all that. So that's the most important. Obviously, it's going to be the sound of the strings that you're going to be using. Now, point number two is going to be going to categorize their sub points as well inside point number two, and that's the feel of the strings. The feel of the strings, and I mean by that is the tension, you have the flexibility, and you have the feel of the strings, literally how they feel. For the flexibility, usually, when it's flexible, it means it's going to be more bendy on this side, and it helps with the legatos a little bit. And it's going to have a little bit more rebound here, a little bit more tension so that the string comes back in its place directly when you play it. This usually comes with flexible strings in general. And then you have like I said, the feel of the string itself. I really don't like, especially talking about the bass strings right now, I really don't like the feel when they are rigid. Like there are some strings that I've tried before. I'll give some examples. It's not a big deal. It's not that bad. Like Augustine, for example. Augustine, I like those strings. I used to play them a lot before. But they had that rigid feeling on the bass strings. Like it felt a little bit rigid. Whenever you do like this, for example, especially on the sixth string, you'd feel like the string is so rigid. It was a little bit weird to play. So this is point number three. Inside point number two, it's I know you know what I mean. Then point number three is going to be actually the durability of the strings, which to me is the most important thing. I know I said the sound, like obviously it's the most important, but it depends how you're using it. So if I'm just to practice or just to give, let's say, lessons for, Zoom lessons or whatever in person or things like that, I don't mind the sound as much. I'm not as caring as I am when I'm recording something, right? So to me, generally speaking, durability is one of the most important points. Point number three, right? And that's how durable they are, how much they last, how much they can offer you the sound, that fresh sound that I generally like. Every time you pick up the guitar, you play, it still sounds like you just put the strings on. Like the durability is very, very important. Of course, you know what I mean. And lastly, point number four is going to be the tuning of the strings as well. How they tune and how much they last tuned well. Because some strings, you put them on the first week, they're maybe fine. And then second week already just going out of tune. Now, these 4 points, especially on the second point, which is the feel of the strings, divided into many aspects as well. These are the 4 things I look into when I'm getting new strings. The most important thing, like I said, if I'm just giving lessons or just practicing, or even composing at this point, like I do prioritize the durability more than anything. Like I said, when I'm composing or giving classes or anything like that, I really rather get that durability, even though the sound might be not exactly as I want. Maybe they sound a little bit more metallic, maybe they sound here and that. Like, it's not the biggest deal. As long as I'm not recording, right, anything for my album or a video, even something like that, it's okay to have like something that I'm not 100% satisfied with the sound, but the durability is there. I prefer the durability because then I can practice longer. I can, even when I'm composing, every time I pick up the guitar, the strings are giving you the inspiration to play, right, every time like that. And then secondary, let's say, it's going to be the tension. I care about the tension a lot of the strings, whether they feel good, whether they're not too high tension, whether they're like flexible enough, let's say, to be able to play properly. And lastly is the sound, because like I said, if I'm practicing, most of the time I even have the headphones on. I don't even hear what I'm doing if I'm practicing like that. When I'm composing, I can manage as well. So the sound is going to be the third thing I care about most, and then the tuning would be last, although it's one of the most important things, you can argue. But most strings tune okay, like it's not super bad. So this is like my approach when I'm trying like new strings. This is what I look for. So you can argue that you can have different set or of strings or brands for different things, right? So you can have you prefer these strings for recording, these strings for playing live, these strings for practicing, that kind of thing. Now, what is the great thing? And when the string companies are marketing their strings and they want to have the greatest product, is if they can hit all these marks, right, as high as possible. And I haven't seen anybody hit like 10 out of 10 all of these things, because it's impossible. It's always, you find strings, for example, that they sound fantastic, they feel fantastic, but they don't tune, or they don't have the durability. Or you find strings that are so durable, in fact, and they tune perfectly fine, but then the sound is too metallic, too bright, for example. It's something like that. It's so hard to find strings, or that they feel like a little bit rigid, let's say, or the tension is not exactly there. So it's very hard to find strings that can hit all the marks perfectly. And this brings me to this topic today of the video, especially, is PITBULL Strings. They contacted me like about 5 months ago, perhaps, or 6 months ago, something like that. And they wanted to work with me, but I hadn't seen any of their strings in where I live, in the local shops, or even online. So I wasn't sure if to go ahead or not. So we went back and forth. We were talking, and then they sent me like a trial of what they have. They have like 6 different kinds of strings. They had the which was it? They have the coated series. They have the silver. They have Mutant, Venus, and they have the gold, and then the carbon series, like 6 different kinds. Now this might sound a little bit misleading, but I'm using the carbon set, and I'm only using the bases of this set. I don't usually play carbon trebles. I don't like the sound. It's too bright. It's unnatural to me. Although they offer a loud volume in fantastic tuning, usually the carbon, but I don't like the sound. So I loved the bases of these. So I'm only using the bases right now, and I'm using the Mutant series that they have for the trebles down. These. Now, a point that I forgot to mention before is that I'm not as picky on the trebles of the guitar. So I usually find it easier to be satisfied with trebles of like almost, like I'm not as picky, that's all. Like I'm much more picky when it comes to choosing the basses, because it's very easy to have the rigid feeling I was talking about, or the tension being like a sudden change on the basses, or the sound being too metallic on some strings, or especially the durability, where some basses you put them on and just like 1-2 days gone. You don't hear any, they don't have sustain anymore. So I'm much more picky about the basses, which is why I chose this one, the carbon ones. They have fantastic durability, and they have also the depth that I like. So these almost hit the mark perfect. Aside that they are carbon, that I don't use carbon actually, but the bass strings hit the marks perfectly fine. And I'm about to show you now the sound that I'm looking for usually on the basses. Guess what? It's bassy. I like bassy sound. I know like some players usually like this bright sound on the bass. You know, like it's a little bit more maybe crisp, and maybe like, I don't know. It depends on the flavor and taste that you're looking for, but I generally want to hear bass. When I'm playing on the basses here, I want to hear that depth, or let's say, I want to hear that depth of on the bass strings. I don't want them to be too bright. So the carbon ones, this is my recommendation, and I want to stress this point. Very, very important if you want to try them out. I really do recommend these carbon ones, the bases of this one. Not the entire, I don't play carbon. If you like carbon, you can just put also the trebles, and that's perfectly fine. But the bases on this set is something very, very special, I noticed. Funny story, I'm recommending them to my students, and I have specifically one student that he likes to always try new strings, and he likes every 2 weeks to change strings and try stuff, new stuff like that. So I recommended these strings. I told him, if you want something very, very good, like they can last you a long time and you can enjoy the sound and everything, please try those ones. Then when he tried them out, I met with him after like 3 weeks or something like that. We met, and then I said, so how do you feel like about the strings? And he said, I hate them. It's like, what happened? Why? He said, man, I like to change strings every 2 weeks, and it's been like two weeks and a little bit now, and they are still new. So he said they took away my joy of changing strings every time, which is a very, very, obviously it's a very good sign. And that's what I mean, like the strings last very, very long, and they sound very, very good. Let's do a little bit some sound testing, for example. I can show you a little bit the basses first, since we're talking about the basses of this set. Like I said, I like that depth. I like the quality of the strings being a little bit darker here. Again, very dark. Like I really like the sound. As for the trebles, by the way, like I'm using the Mutant series. Like I said, I'm less picky about the trebles. So Mutant series, like it just so happened that I found the first one. It was on the top. I'm like, all right, let me put those. And I already like them a lot, by the way. They sound like this. By the way, I'm not putting any reverb. This is just from the guitar coming, the sound, all right? Just to clarify. It's unbelievable. This is really good. This is unbelievably good. I want to just quickly like have the, let's say, the conclusion of what I really like about those strings and what specifically stands out. The thing number one about this carbon set specifically is their durability and their deep bass sound. Obviously, I don't have to play again, but they sound so good. They sound very bassy again, and they're very durable. That's the thing I really like about those. As for the trebles, I really like the punchiness. They have this kind of, when I play a note, it's not just the note itself. It feels like it has a punch behind it. And you can argue the guitar has a big role to play in this, of course, as well, but the strings also matter a lot when it comes to that. By the way, the Mutant series, now the trebles, I've been using for like 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks and a half, something like that, about a month ago. And they are perfectly fine in tune. They don't have any issues. It's very, the sustain is very good. I like that. In case you're curious how they sound in the rasgados. it's all good. So I just wanted to announce, like, basically that I'm working with PITBULL Strings right now, and I'm really enjoying the experience very, very much. The like I said, the things that stand out is how durable they are, how good they sound as well. They tune very well. One more thing I forgot to mention about the strings is how smooth they feel. It's like putting a little bit, I don't know, like wax or something on them. Like when I do like this, it's very smooth, as if this is just a nylon string. Even on the 6th string, it's very smooth. There's nothing rigid like that. So when you're playing, it doesn't feel like it's getting in your way. I forgot to mention this point. So just basically that. I hope that if you want my recommendation, I really, really highly recommend the basses of the Carbon series, this one. Even if you're a Carbon person, if you really like the sound of the Carbon trebles, just put the whole set, it's perfectly fine. I'm not. I really prefer using, for example, a Mutant series, or let's say the trebles. Or if you want from PITBULL Strings, let's say I really like the Venus ones, the trebles, the basses on that set, by the way, sounds much brighter than this. So if you want brighter sound, the Venus series, the purple one, sounds very bright on the basses. Trebles sound very, very nice. But basically, my recommendation is the basses of those. And then anything else you want, you can choose. Like for the nylon, the trebles, anything you'd like. And I know you're not going to be disappointed, hopefully not. I'm going to leave the link down for their website directly. I know it might be a little bit hard it's in Turkish, so I don't know, you might have to translate it or something like that. If you live in the States, I think they might start to be more readily available, because I think they're about to start distributing there in the States, and it'll be easier to get. But for now, I think all you can do is to go to their website directly from PITBULL Strings and just get the order from there directly. You already know my recommendation. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you next time.